guys, Remy here with my second review, and today I thought I'd bring you a piece that's actually growing on me, and seems to be growing on a lot of collectors, and that is the Darth Maul Mechanical Legs PF by Sideshow Collectibles. Start off my little personal history on this piece. This was my first Sideshow PF. I picked it up over the summer at Fan Expo Canada. Got him for such a sweet deal, I could not resist him. And I'd been into statue collecting before, but mainly it was quarter scale, 6 scale pieces and busts. This was my first foray into the quarter scale universe, and I thought it was a great place to start. So, a little background history of my Star Wars knowledge. I am a huge Star Wars fan. As you will eventually see on my channel, I have a lot of Star Wars statues, busts, and little collectibles that I'm planning to review because Star Wars is probably my favorite movie. Well, it's gonna sound like blasphemy. Die-hard Star Wars fan, probably the best fandom to be a part of. But Star Wars is not my favorite movies, but they're up there. They're in the top 5. Anyway, Darth Maul, what can be said about him? Episode 1 came out, he was the badass. Like, everything down, the red skin, the tattoos, just screamed Sith. And the double-bladed lightsaber was something we had not seen before, and was probably one of the most interesting and surprising things to see in a Star Wars movie. Okay, now to come down to this PF and the mythos behind it. As we all know, Darth Maul was cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Episode 1. And this follows one of the comic books based off Darth Maul, in which he acquires mechanical legs and is brought back to life. You also see this incarnation Darth Maul in the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon, which I thought was a great just little send-off to Darth Maul, even though it kind of ended on a low note of him begging for mercy, which seemed really out of character for Darth Maul. Anyway, to the statue. Starting off, we have a really detailed little rock base. Really well done. It's simple, but it works. Up close, this thing does look like gravel and looks like rock. And that's all you can really ask for in a base. Moving up, you have his mechanical legs. Really nice paint job on them. However, they are a bit fragile. As I was putting them on the base, I heard a tiny little crack in one of the toes. I can't see any visible damage on it personally, but warning collectors out there, if you're picking this guy up, be really careful with the base. So that aside, the paint job looks perfect. People with complaints said it was a bit bland, but up close you can really see some of the details. I will get better pictures up close later. There's some scoring, the carbon scoring, some battle damage, some wear, all throughout the legs. Makes the piece look really nice. And especially on the back of his outstretched leg. Right there. Now, my only real complaint from the statue comes from the leg area, and that is it's supported on just the one leg. It's in there sturdy, it doesn't really move, but it does sort of scare me how you have all the weight just precariously balanced on just one peg that goes into the bottom. And for such a big piece, he's about, most Sideshow's taller ones, he's around 23 inches, and he's outstretched pretty far, so he does kind of seem a bit off balance, but I haven't had a problem with it yet. Moving up, you have mixed media aspect, which are the removable robes. I display mine with the robes on personally. Kind of like how it adds a little dynamic look to him. Looks like he's running, so I have my robes posed as such. Sorry, the black shirt. I put it against the light so you can see a bit better. As you can see, wireframe all throughout. Shoulders, torso, and the actual little flares themselves. Like I said, it is removable, and it is fully painted underneath, so I will hopefully have pictures of that later if I take the robes off. But my belt from Sideshow, like a lot of people's, is kind of iffy, so I may not remove it. Sorry if I don't get pictures up. Something feature I thought a lot of people don't touch on is the hood. A lot of people say the hood's fixed. That is actually false. with mine, there was only one tiny little piece of thread that was holding that in place, and it's so thin. To me, it looks like it was just there for shipping, so they could compact it. And the hood does actually go over the head and cover the horns. It's a bit hard because of the angle it's on now, but it is an option to display if you want to have his hood on. So, display feature, not many people know about that piece. I didn't think it was, I don't even know if it was intentional or not, but hey, easy enough to do. Just give your hood a slight little tug and then you're good. Now, we went to the face sculpt. As you can see, I do have the regular. I do not have the exclusive head on display. I do own the exclusive, however. I just prefer the regular head, as the cracked horns don't really, I don't know, I never really liked them. The paint job and everything's flawless on that. I just, personal preference, don't really like the horns. Then, body sculpt. Really well done. You have the muscle tone, the tattoos are actually slightly carved in, so they don't look cheaply applied. Sideshow has also done this most recently on their Shock TPF, and I find it really makes the tattoos look a lot better and a lot more professional, just into this sloppily drawn on by hand. The statue does have a light up feature, however mine is actually broken, and from the factory when I purchased it, it was brand new, still in the box, still have the Sideshow seal, but be it as it may, neither of the lightsabers light up. Isn't really a killer for me, because I would never display them with the lights on regardless, because I have my Besta for the light. But just a note, does knock the statue down a few points. Again, not really a deal breaker for me though, but for some of you guys, it may well in fact be. Okay, and give you a little pan around. Final little complaint on this piece before I give my final thoughts is the skin tone. It's a bit oranger than I had expected. Like I said at the very beginning, it is growing on me, and I am starting to really dig it, but it's not as red as we remember Darth Maul being. But it is a bit older piece, so it could, like, Darth Maul isn't as young in this one, he's older, his horns have grown out, so maybe that could be part of it. And go to the back a bit, some of the nice details of those mechanical legs. But yeah, huge piece, like I said before. I'm struggling to get it in frame here. Really sweet piece. And personal recommendations, I'd say get one. They're becoming a bit harder to find. I got mine cheap, so I hope you guys can find them affordable. The prices really fluctuate on this piece. So if you can find one, I recommend getting them. The face, personally, better than the original Darth Maul PF. I had one kicking around for a while, but couldn't justify keeping two Darth Mauls. As much of a Star Wars fan I am, I have this one, and I have Dakota Bukia's, and this is my favorite quarter scale Darth Maul, so I've kept this one. And my final thoughts on the piece? Great job by Sideshow, I must say. Yeah, the mixed media aspect works really well. The fact that it's an optional, it's not like a fixed suit, great. So it gives you multiple display options. The light up feature, if mine worked, it probably would have been cool, but again, it's not a deal breaker for me. So it comes down to it, I'd say get them, guys. If you can find them for a reasonable price, definitely pick them up if you're a Sideshow fan, and especially if you're a Star Wars fan like myself. Like, it's just a towering piece. Like, it dwarfs everything around it. It dwarfs every Darth Maul around it. So if you just want sheer Darth Maul Sith awesomeness, grab this piece. I can't really say anything bad about it, except for the few small gripes I had. So, if you can get him, get him. He's really worth it. Alright guys, this is Remy the Rogue, signing off. One more thing before I go, however. Behind me I have a few of my current pieces, and I don't know, if you guys want anything special reviewed, hit me up, comments below, and I will be glad to review it for you. Peace guys, Cajun out.